Today we're going to talk about incorporating your novel into your research paper. This is the research paper we started yesterday. You see I modified the Manjack, the camp, and I made a nice research sandwich with my blue and my black. I introduced my research, and I have the research there, and then I react to that research. Make sure each of your paragraphs is a research sandwich with your thoughts, research, and your thoughts. We're focusing on C right now, incorporating your novels. I chose to incorporate the novel called Night. How many of you are reading Night? All right, you get freebies here. So, first thing we have to do is write a brief summary of our novel. We can do that in our own words. You don't need to cite the source, but you will give an in-text citation at the end with the parentheses. So let me think out loud for a bit. Talking about the book Night by Elie Wiesel. The novel Night, written by Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel, tells the story of Elie and his father and their journey through Auschwitz. And I have to relate it back to my topic. My topic is Manjack, not Auschwitz, so I'm going to make a little reference. I'm going to do a compare-contrast statement. I'm going to say they were a little different. Auschwitz was a killing center, while Manjack, and I have to spell it, M-A-J-D-A-N-E-K, was more of a shipping center. So that's the first sentence of that paragraph. Now, how is it cause and effect? I have to go back and check my cause and effect main statement, which is due to the harsh conditions and poor diet of the prisoners that were often too weak to work and sent to deaths. All right, so I have to just relate it back to people not being able to eat and being too weak to work. I think that's pretty easy to relate the novel to. And I'm going to do it with a quote. Found a quote on my book. Page 32, and I don't know if anybody else's Night book correlates to my page 32 because mine's a little smaller, but this is where he really talks about night and why the book is called Night. So I'm going to direct quote him. I'm going to open quotes and copy. Never shall I forget that night, the first night in the camp, which has turned my life into one long night, 7 times cursed and 7 times sealed. Never shall I forget that smoke. And I'm going to do something called an ellipses. I'm going to skip a little bit, and that's just 3 dots. 1, 2, 3. I am condemned to live as long as... I don't like that. I'm just going to end it. No longer shall I forget that smoke. He's talking about how his time in the concentration camp absolutely changed his life forever. So take that back to my cause and effect. In Manjack, people were also sent to their deaths, died of starvation. Survivors were changed forever. And then I have a little bit more that relates to just getting there on that same page. And I think I'm going to put it, I want to put it before this heavy quote. This is a really heavy quote. So I'm going to move the heavy quote down into the transformation because I think that's where it's going to go. And this quote's more about just how Manjack was a shipping hub. You had all the boots and shoes there and the clothes of other people. I found a little section in my book where he had to take off all his clothes and they were kept. So I'm starting here. We had to throw our clothes at one end of the barracks. There was already a great heap there. New suits and old, torn coats, rags. For us, this was the true equality. Nakedness. Shivering with the cold. End quote. Reminds me of all the piles and the shoe piles and all the Manjack lists. I'm going to make a little reference back to that poem again. It reminds the reader of the massive amounts of property lost to prisoners. So these are my words. They get to be black. These are my words. They get to be black. Quote, blue. And when you're quoting, you have to have those parenthetical quotes. This is from the book Night by Weissel. So you're just going to put the author's last name in those parentheses. And I had the other quote down here. Just going to copy it and do it again. I have to have a transformation thing here, so I have to talk about how this novel transformed me. And I'm going to use that quote to kind of do it. My transformation thought from Night is how damaged Ellie was after the war, after his time in Auschwitz, and it just makes me think of all the others that survived and came out very different and damaged people. So, I can't say me. This paper isn't about me. It makes the reader think about all of the damaged people that came out of the Holocaust. So then there's that. Let's format it. It's a little long. I might make this 2 paragraphs instead of just 1. You can always do that. Don't be afraid to go, I think this is long. I think I need to start a new paragraph. That is totally acceptable. So I got 2 nice little paragraphs about my novel. I'm going to put them in double space so you can see what that really looks like. Times New Roman font. 12 point, no bold. I can see I'm already a little off here. Always check your ruler, make sure you're where you're supposed to be. Indent your paragraphs. Underline your titles of your books. And there's a little bit of spelling issues I have to clean up, but basically that's incorporating that novel. And then on the Works Cited page, taught you how to do the book. It's last name first, period. What comes next? Title of the book? Nobody's voice wants to be on the recording? Night. City of publication?
New York.
Publisher? Year. My book was published in '86. That's citing your book. And notice that these are alphabetized. You always alphabetize by first letter. U comes before W. W, X, Y, Z. Yep. So that would go afterwards. Save my work, because I always save my work. And that's it.